Have you ever had the feeling that your cat was trying to tell you something, but you had absolutely no idea what it was? The strange thing is that cats may spend their entire lives communicating with us without ever making a sound. Because one of the most expressive parts of a cat's body isn't their face, their eyes, or even their voice. It's their tail. And once you learn how to read it, you may realize that your cat has been having conversations with you every single day. Let's start with one of the clearest and most important messages a cat can send. 1. The tail that says, "I trust you." Perhaps the most important message a cat can send is also one of the easiest to recognize. When a cat approaches with their tail held straight up, they aren't simply walking around comfortably. They are displaying one of the strongest signs of confidence and social trust in the feline world. Researchers have even found that cats are significantly more willing to approach another cat displaying a raised tail than one holding its tail low. You may notice this greeting when you come home after work, enter a room after being away for a few hours, or simply wake up in the morning. Rather than remaining distant, your cat actively chooses to approach you while displaying a posture associated with safety and friendliness. Sometimes, that greeting becomes even more personal. A tail may gently wrap around your leg, your arm, or even around another cat living in the same household. Although humans often compare this behavior to a hug, the significance may be even greater. Through this gesture, cats communicate affection, familiarity, and a desire for social connection. And if the raised tail begins to vibrate slightly, you're witnessing one of the most enthusiastic greetings a cat can offer. 2. When curiosity takes control. Not every tail movement is about emotion. Sometimes the tail reveals what your cat is thinking. Imagine your cat sitting beside a window staring at a bird outside. Their body becomes perfectly still, their ears rotate forward, and the tail begins moving slowly from side to side. Nothing about this posture suggests relaxation. Instead, it reveals intense concentration. Thousands of years of predatory instinct remain hidden inside even the most pampered house cats. A similar behavior appears during play. While stalking a toy mouse or preparing to pounce on a feather wand, many cats begin flicking only the tip of their tail. Excitement certainly plays a role, but concentration is often the stronger emotion. Another posture associated with curiosity is the famous question mark tail. In this position, the tail stands upright while curling gently at the tip. Rather than expressing uncertainty, this shape usually signals friendliness and interest. Something in the environment has captured your cat's attention, and they have decided that it's worth investigating. Whenever you see this posture, chances are your cat feels safe enough to explore. 3. The warning most humans misunderstand. One of the biggest mistakes cat owners make is assuming that cats wag their tails for the same reasons dogs do. Unfortunately, that assumption can create problems. A tail moving forcefully from side to side rarely indicates happiness in cats. Instead, it often signals irritation, frustration, anxiety, or emotional overload. The faster and more powerful the movement becomes, the stronger the emotion usually is. This misunderstanding frequently happens during petting sessions. Everything appears fine. Purring continues. Then the tail starts moving. Many people ignore this signal because the cat hasn't hissed or walked away yet. However, the tail often delivers the warning long before the rest of the body reacts. A bite that seems to happen out of nowhere rarely comes without warning. In reality, the conversation had already begun several seconds earlier. Learning to recognize these signals doesn't just help prevent scratches. It also teaches us to respect the boundaries cats constantly attempt to communicate. 4. Fear has its own language. Few sights are more dramatic than watching a cat's tail suddenly double in size. Many people interpret this posture as a sign of aggression, but fear is usually the real emotion behind it. By puffing up their tail, a cat attempts to appear larger and more intimidating in the hope that a potential threat will back away before a confrontation becomes necessary. Lowered tails often communicate similar feelings. As a cat becomes more anxious or uncertain, the tail gradually drops closer to the ground. Once it becomes tucked beneath the body, the message is unmistakable: your cat no longer feels safe. At moments like these, many owners instinctively try to comfort their pet through touch or reassurance. Unfortunately, frightened cats rarely seek affection first. What they often need most is distance, a sense of control over their surroundings, and enough time to regain confidence at their own pace. Understanding this difference can completely change the way we respond to fear and help our cats feel genuinely safe rather than simply restrained. 5. The tail movement that perfectly explains cats. Perhaps no tail movement captures the personality of cats better than the sleepy flick. Almost every cat owner has experienced this moment. You call your cat's name and receive no response. A few seconds later, the tip of the tail moves once while the rest of the body remains perfectly still. Although this behavior may appear dismissive, it actually reveals something surprisingly reassuring. Your cat heard you perfectly well and simply decided that getting up was unnecessary. Strangely enough, this tiny movement often signals trust rather than indifference. A cat that feels threatened wakes immediately. A cat that feels safe remains exactly where it is. And perhaps that's what makes feline tail language so fascinating. Cats have never been trying to hide their emotions from us. They've been communicating with us all along. The real challenge has always been learning how to understand what they're saying. But understanding your cat's tail is only the beginning, because knowing what your cat is feeling raises an even more interesting question. If cats are constantly communicating with us, is there actually a scientific way to make them trust us more, feel safer around us, and even choose to spend more time with us? As it turns out, researchers have been studying exactly that question for years, and some of their discoveries are far more surprising than most cat owners realize. In our next video, we're exploring the scientific ways to get a cat to like you, from the body language techniques that build trust to the behaviors that can strengthen your bond without your cat even realizing it. And some of the most effective methods involve doing less, not more.